What's up, everybody? Welcome back. And Manchester United are in talks with Ruben Amorim to replace Erik ten Hag. I'm quite surprised, to be honest. I didn't think that it would be moving this quickly, but David Ornstein did break it on Twitter. So let's have a look right now. Exclusive: Manchester United working on deal to appoint Ruben Amorim as head coach. Man United ready to pay that €10 million release clause, in talks with Sporting to finalise. 39-year-old Portuguese open to accepting the move. So I'm not sure if Ruben Amorim is going to come over and take over straight away, as in it's going to happen after the international break or whatever. Or if it's going to happen at the end of the season. I'm thinking that this is moving at a very fast pace, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Ruben Amorim in the Old Trafford dugout in about, just after the international break or something, because we've got 4 more games up until the international break, and then after the international break, I'm expecting Ruben Amorim to kind of be there as manager of Manchester United, because how fast Erik ten Hag was sacked, after that game against West Ham, when he didn't necessarily deserve to be sacked just for that game, but the way how with how quickly these stories are moving, and how kind of quickly he was sacked, it came as a surprise to me that you would sack the manager after a performance like West Ham, whereby we should have won that game easily in the first half, and there was a controversial VAR decision with regards to that penalty that West Ham scored, this Ruben Amorim story is breaking really fast, and I'm thinking that possibly the United hierarchy already had kind of sounded out Amorim, before that kind of West Ham defeat. And since he said I'm thinking that they thought that, what, let's pull the plug into Erik ten Hag and let's get our guy in right now. And this is going to be Ineos's first appointment as manager of them since them taking over that shareholder of the club, so they have to get this right. So let's have a look at the article by David Ornstein. It first broke via The Athletic. Manchester United are working on a deal to appoint Sporting Lisbon's Ruben Amorim as their new head coach. Sources in Portugal speaking anonymously, as they're not authorised to discuss the matter, have told The Athletic the 39-year-old is open to taking up the opportunity after Erik ten Hag was sacked earlier on Monday. United are ready to pay €10 million or £8.3 million release clause in his contract, with the two clubs in talks to finalise a deal that could see Ruud van Nistelrooy take interim charge before Amorim's arrival. Well, he is going to be the interim before anyone arrives. That's been kind of confirmed. Amorim has emerged as one of Europe's most sought-after young managers after a run of success with the Portuguese club, with United moving quickly after making him their number one target to be Ten Hag's replacement. He was in contention to replace Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool before Arne Slot ultimately got the job, and also held talks over replacing David Moyes at West Ham before later apologising and calling the meeting a mistake. He won the Premier League title in 2021 and again last season, while also winning the Taça da Liga, the Portuguese League Cup. I think that's the equivalent FA Cup, on 2 occasions with Sporting and a third time with his previous club Braga. He has also built a reputation as a coach known for fielding young players and improving individual player performance. A midfielder in his playing career, Amorim was a 3-time league champion with Benfica and won 14 caps for the Portugal national team. So Erik ten Hag was appointed in April 2022 and went on to lead the club to the League Cup title in his first season in charge, as well as the FA Cup in his second season. The former Ajax coach was retained as United manager in the summer following an end-of-season review by the club's hierarchy, but also after they had sounded out potential replacements, including now England manager Thomas Tuchel, Brentford head coach Thomas Frank, and Ipswich Town manager Kieran McKenna. And United returned to Premier League action with that game against Chelsea, but before that they are up against Leicester City in the League Cup on Wednesday. They also have 2 Europa League games against POK and Bodo Glimt. And so David Ornstein was the first to kind of break this news via The Athletic, and we are working on a deal to bring Ruben Amorim to Old Trafford. And how do I feel about this news? It is promising, because he is a young, promising coach. He has a good kind of past previous experience with Braga and with Sporting Lisbon, winning the league title with them last year. He also has a very good league record with them so far this season as well. We'll get into that in a minute. So here's BBC Sport. Man United in talks about appointing sporting manager Ruben Amorim as Ten Hag's replacement. He's highly regarded coach, won 2 Portuguese league titles with Sporting, including their first in 19 years since joining in 2020. If you have a look at the Portuguese league-winning teams list of Portuguese football champions, you've got Sporting Lisbon there in 2020, 2021, and then last season as well, Sporting won their 20th title. So this title that he won in 2021 was after 19 years. The previous title that Sporting Lisbon won was in 2001, 2002 season. That was their last league title, and since then you've just got Porto dominating, Benfica with a couple of titles, and basically Porto and Benfica dominating the kind of league championship there. So in terms of that, he is a decent manager, but you know what, he has a lot of promise, but there was a lot of promise with Erik ten Hag as well when we appointed him. So I'm not sure how he's going to get on. The Premier League is a tough cookie. No, it's not for everyone. As we saw with Erik ten Hag's, he was coming from a decent background with Ajax, playing the Ajax brand of football, promoting youth, etc., etc. He was a very promising young manager as well, and he came to Manchester United, and he didn't necessarily get found out, but he didn't live up to the expectations, and Manchester United then got rid of him. So it's the same thing with Ruben Amorim as well. I don't know how it's going to work out with him, because Manchester United are just one next level step up with regards to Sporting Lisbon, and so it's going to be one of them. I'm not sure how it is. I'm not fully kind of confident that he is gonna lead Man United to league titles. We will just have to wait and see. But I wouldn't be surprised if Manchester United do sack him in about 2 years' time. Honestly, because that's just the kind of club that we are. It shouldn't be said, but I think we're not kind of being run to the best of our abilities as well. Sky Sports article: Man United in talks to Sporting over 39-year-old as new boss. He is a young manager as well, has a lot of potential. It can go right, but it can also go horribly wrong as well, appointing such a young manager. But we'll see how it goes. I'm not completely sure how it's going to work out. I'm up in the air with it. Even with Ten Hag getting sacked, I was very surprised that he got sacked today, because that game against West Ham, like I mentioned, it could have gone either way. Man United could have been winning at half time, at least 4-0. But yeah, in terms of let's have a look at the his record at Sporting Lisbon right now, and we'll have a look at his career honours as well. That'd be an interesting kind of topic to kind of speak upon. So let me just go down to his managerial honours, and then I'll also pull up the league season right now that we're in Portugal as well. So we'll have a look at that. He's got a very high win percentage in the Portuguese league with the teams that he's managed. So that's it could be kind of a good thing as well. But fairly young, fairly inexperienced as well. Man United is a next level step up. It's just from Ajax to Manchester United, even from Sporting Lisbon to Manchester United. It's just a different cookie, man. Dealing with the pressure that Man United have, we are probably the second biggest club in the world, or the third biggest club in the world. I think you've got Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and then Manchester United as well, and then possibly I would say Liverpool. As much as I hate to say it, I think they're your 5 biggest clubs in the world right now, in terms of history, pedigree, and so these 5 jobs are probably the most hardest jobs in world football. So it's a different cookie, honestly. But yeah, so I'm not sure how it is going to work out with him. We'll just have to wait and see. But in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll bring up Sporting Lisbon's current season, because they're doing really well right now. Actually, in fact, what I'll do is I'll look at his first season in charge at Sporting Lisbon and see how they got on when he got appointed. Before that, yeah, we should do that. Yeah. So, Ruben Amorim was appointed Sporting Lisbon manager on the 4th of March in the 2019-20 season, and they went on to finish that season in 4th place. So that was his first season in charge. Let me just kind of go to his page. Yeah, was it 4th of March 2020? Yeah. So before that he was at Braga as well. At Braga he only managed 13 games at Braga. Won 10, drew 1, and lost 2. So we'll have a look at these statistics now for him. So there you go. Braga, he was appointed manager of Braga in December 2019. Games 3, won 10, drew 1, and lost 2. Goal difference of plus 14, win percentage of 76.92. Then at Sporting Lisbon, then he went to Sporting Lisbon on the 4th of March. So again, he's taking over mid-season. So kind of seems to me that he doesn't mind taking over mid-season. Personally, I think getting rid of your manager mid-season and trying to get a replacement can be a little bit difficult. And that's why I think maybe the Manchester United hierarchy, they got the yes from Ruben Amorim to take over mid-season, and that's why they decided to get rid of Erik ten Hag in such quick fashion. It was like that, he's gone. There wasn't no outlets that were like breaking that news. I only found out this morning, and I genuinely didn't think he would get sacked, Erik ten Hag. I thought that because he didn't get sacked in the the October international break, I thought that Erik ten Hag would have been given up until at least the November international break, because they didn't sack him in the summer and they had the perfect opportunity to get rid of him then, and they didn't. Then they had the opportunity to get rid of him during the October international break, and they didn't. Now, because they didn't, I thought they would have given him up until the November international break, but they haven't. So maybe they got a kind of yes from Ruben Amorim in terms of taking over, and that's why they've decided to get rid of him. But yeah, who knows? As more details come out, we'll find out. But he was appointed Sporting Lisbon manager on the 4th of March 2020, and you can see his record here. Very, very good record. I think that's a superb record, to be honest. 237 games managed, won 170, drawn 34, lost 33, goals scored 514, conceded 194, goal difference of plus 320, and a win percentage of 71.73. It is, of course, the Portuguese league, however, and you've only got 3 teams that basically dominate: Sporting, Benfica, and Porto. So yeah, in terms of his honours, if we have a look at his honours, with Braga, he won the Taça da Liga, the Portuguese League Cup, which is the equivalent of the FA Cup in England. He won that with Braga. That was his first kind of managerial honour as a manager. Then he won the league title in his first league title in 2021. Then he won the Taça da Liga as well, making that double. The Portuguese League Cup there as well. So he's won that twice. One with Braga, one with Sporting Lisbon as well. Then he won the Taça da Liga again in the season afterwards. Then he also won the league last season. So maybe we should have a look at his league stats from Sporting from the time he took over. You can see here his season. He took over from the 4th of March, and I'm not sure if we're gonna have if we could see his record. So 4th of March. So the manager got sacked after this game, the 3-1 loss. So so he won his first game in charge. He won his first game in charge of Sporting, and he had a decent record. And he only lost to Porto and Benfica as well, and remained unbeaten in all the other games. So yeah, that was a decent record, and they ended up finishing 4th that season. Yeah. He's also worked with Bruno Fernandes as well. That's very interesting. So maybe that's why, another reason why they want to get in Ruben Amorim. He's worked with Bruno Fernandes. Left the club halfway through the season as well. Wow. I didn't know that. So I'm very surprised at that. I had no idea that he'd worked with Bruno Fernandes, so that's something new to me. So possibly Bruno might be happy as well that he's got a familiar face coming in to work with him. Bruno Fernandes league. Where's Bruno Fernandes here? I don't see him. Current squad. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe this is the current squad, not the squad of 2019. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I've just got this completely wrong. I'm not sure what this is. I don't know why I can't see Bruno Fernandes here. But yeah, so I didn't know that he'd worked with Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes scoring 8 goals in the league there, 15 in all comps. So yeah, he's worked with Bruno before as well. Yeah, so number 8 and transfer out Bruno to Manchester United, age 25 there. Yeah, in terms of that, let's have a look at the statistics here. Let's have a look at the statistics here. Players who have made appearances this season but have left the club. Okay, yeah. So you got Bruno Fernandes, 28 appearances in total appearances, then 15 goals, 17 appearances in the league, 8 goals, and Man United decided to go for him. So that was a very good signing. I think probably Manchester United's best signing post Sir Alex Ferguson. Then you can see qualifying for the Europa League, finished tied on points with Braga as well, only losing out on goal difference. Yeah, so this was his first kind of season in charge, and yeah, so let's have a look at his second season in charge, his first full season that he started off with, and he went on to win the league that season, and he also won the Taça da Liga. Taça de Portugal, I think this is the FA Community Shield equivalent. Let me just check to make sure. Sorry, let me just make sure that I'm correct here and kind of sugar. What am I doing? Taça de Portugal knockout tournament. Oh, it's a knockout tournament as well. So maybe this is the equivalent of the League Cup in England. So you've got 3 kind of competitions there: Taça de Liga, Taça de Portugal. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the League Cup equivalent, or organised by the Portuguese Football League. Competition to open professional and amateur clubs from the top 4 league divisions. So that's the Taça de Portugal, and then you've got the Taça de Liga, which is the top 2 tiers of Portuguese football as well. So yeah, Portugal, they've got 3 kind of tournaments going on in their not tournaments, sorry, 1 league of course, then 2 cup competitions. That's how it is in England as well. Let's have a look. So he finished first in his first full season as Sporting manager, and you have a look at the table, he only lost 1 league game, so close to kind of having an invincible season. That is absolutely insane. Only lost one league game, and that was Sporting Lisbon's first league title for 19 years. And you have a look at his record here. Home record, 0 losses. That is really, really good. Obviously, that one loss coming away from home, which was on match day 33. Who did they lose against? Benfica, of course. It was 4-3 as well. And look at the goals. Yeah, I think Benfica were leading 1, 2, 3, 4. 4-2. And then Sporting Lisbon scored 2 goals near the end of time there as well. I think this is during the COVID season as well. So yeah, this was Sporting Lisbon's first title for 19 years as well. So that has to be commended as well. So he knows what it takes to win a league title after not winning it for so long. So he's got very good first season in charge, first full season, winning the double. Then the next season afterwards, they finished second, but they won the Taça de Liga, and this is the winners of the top tier league and cup competitions. So they won the Taça de Liga again. They got to the semi-finals of Taça de Portugal and finished second in the league this season, in his second full season in charge. So if we can see the league table, here's a league table. So they lost 3 games this season, and they finished 6 points behind Porto, who went on to become champions as well. So I think he's had decent seasons with Sporting. And then there's next season after that, not the best, finishing fourth, not winning anything. So this wasn't a particularly decent season by his standards that he set himself previously, finishing fourth there, losing 6 times with 74 points. Finally we'll have a look at his last season in charge. So last season he did end up winning the league again. So let's have a look at the league table, and he lost only twice this time, 90 points. Really good record again, and beating Benfica and Porto, and kind of disrupting that kind of that dominance that Porto and Benfica have had for so many years. Really good in my opinion. So I think a very good record as well. If you have a look at his home record, won all 17 games at home and he lost 2 away. That is a brilliant record to have at home, going unbeaten at home, and you're beating the likes of Benfica and Porto at home as well. But like, it has to be said though, I can't stop emphasizing the fact that the Premier League is a different kettle of fish compared to the Eredivisie and the Portuguese league and the French league. It's a completely different kettle of fish. And we will have to wait and see with regards to whether he can settle. Personally, I wouldn't give him a contract more than 3 years. I would just say you've got until the end of the season, then you've got 2 full seasons as well with the option of a 3rd year. And if you can, if you're getting into the top 4 consecutive top 4 finishes, then I think we extend. Otherwise, we're gonna have to look elsewhere, because Man United, the bare minimum that we have to be doing is finishing in the top 4 every season. That's the bare minimum that we have to be doing. We have to be finishing in the top 4 every single season. Winning the league every season, obviously you want to, but it's just not feasible. It's not possible to do that. In terms of in this league season, Sporting set several club records: most points in a season, most wins in a season, and for the first time in the club's history, Sporting finished with a 100% win record for all home matches, and that is brilliant, really. Again, only then 2 losses coming away from home and 3 draws coming away from home as well. So brilliant record. It has to be said, very commendable. What also needs to be said as well, Victor Gyökeres, 29 league goals, and in all competitions 43 goals altogether as well. So if he can kind of replicate that goal scoring form for the likes of Højlund, then we are going to be in good stead as well. And plus, if you can get Bruno Fernandes back into form as well, because he has managed him as well before. He's managed Bruno Fernandes before, so if you can kind of get Bruno Fernandes back firing again, then you know what, we could have a decent end to the season if he's appointed. After this, if he's appointed kind of straight away, that is after the international break. Finally, let's have a look at this season. This season, they are first. They are unbeaten so far in the league, and Victor Gyökeres as well, banging in the goals. Let's have a look at the league table. So currently they're first in the 4th round of the Taça da Liga quarterfinals, in the 4th round, Taça de Portugal, Taça da Liga quarterfinals. This one was the the Community Shield equivalent, which they got runners up, and then the league phase of the Champions League, of course. Let's have a look at the matches. I just want to see. This is the FA Community Shield equivalent, basically, where the winners of the two the winners of the Taça de Portugal and the winners of the league play each other. So they did go on to lose this game, unfortunately for them. Let's have a look at his overall record. He's only lost 1 game so far this season, and that was the what's it called? The Super Taça Candido de Oliveira, which is the FA Community Shield equivalent, and they lost that game. That's the only game he's lost so far this season. Currently, he has a 100% record in the league right now. Let's have a look at the league. There we go. 9 played, 9 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses, 30 goals scored, 2 goals against, goal difference of plus 28, points 27. Absolutely brilliant. start to the season. And this is the thing, like, he's got such a brilliant start to the season. They've only let me just check. Sorry, yeah, they've conceded 1 goal at home, and they've conceded 1 goal away as well. So brilliant record so far. And they've played Porto already. They've not played Benfica yet. Have they played Benfica? Not that I can see. Yeah, they've not played Benfica yet. So this is when they play Benfica on the 29th of December. So they've not played Benfica yet. But yeah, they have beaten Porto, so that was good for them. But Man United failed to beat Porto in the Europa League after going into a lead 2-0 against them. They failed to beat them. Let's have a look at the other records. So this is Taça de Portugal, one of the Portuguese kind of tournaments. I think this is the what's it called? The FA Cup equivalent, and this is the League Cup equivalent, if I'm not mistaken. But obviously he's won that game. League phase. So they've won 2 out of 3 of their games, drawn 1 as well, unbeaten in the Champions League so far this season. So that's good for them as well. And what's kind of not concerning for me, with regards to disappointment, is why would a young promising manager like Ruben Amorim, why would a promising young manager like him leave Sporting Lisbon to kind of come to this circus that is Manchester United? Like, we're an absolute circus. There's no getting away from it. We are an absolute circus right now. Back in Ten Hag, and first of all, doing like a season review at the end. Finishing Erik Ten Hag's first. There's so many things that have gone wrong in the past 11 years since Sir Alex Ferguson's retired. I can't kind of get it all into one video, but we're just being run as a circus basically. If we look at how Ollie was sacked. Ollie shouldn't have been sacked in my opinion, but he was. Then Ralph Rangnick came in, and then that circus kind of happened, and talks were like, Rangnick's going to go upstairs or whatever, and that never happened. And then Ronaldo comes in, and then Erik Ten Hag comes in, and then you've got that Ronaldo issue where he falls out with Ronaldo, and then Ronaldo leaves, and then you've got that Sancho issue as well, and then Erik Ten Hag finishing 3rd in his first season, Marcus Rashford kind of carrying him, and then Erik Ten Hag finishing 8th in his second season, which is completely unforgivable. Then you've got the Ineos coming in, them doing a review and them appointing Barada, Ashworth, Brailsworth, and all that malarkey, whatever it is. Then the transfers haven't been great as well since Alex Ferguson retired. Erik Ten Hag spending 600 million on 13 players, and the best player that United signed was Eriksen on a free. We're currently looking out from within, it doesn't look like as if we are a well-run football club whatsoever. So why would Ruben Amorim leave Sporting Lisbon to come to this circus? Sporting Lisbon right now, Sporting Lisbon are top of the league, won 9 out of 9 games so far this season. They've scored 30, conceded only 2. Yeah, and in the Champions League, first time we've got this league phase in the Champions League. In the Champions League, they've won 2 and drawn 1, and they have 7 points out of 9. Yeah, if I'm Amorim personally, if I'm Ruben Amorim, I'm waiting until the end of the season, and I'm going to Manchester City, assuming they want me to succeed Pep, and that's what I'm doing. Anyone who is sane, anyone who's a young manager. Anyone who is sane in their right mind would avoid going to Manchester United at all costs, because from outside looking in, we're just kind of being run like a circus. We're not being run like a proper football club. And one could even argue that the club is cursed. I could argue that the club is cursed with how we've dealt with how we've kind of been performing transfers and our record or whatever. So I'm not sure why my man would want to come to us in the first place. I think he's a decent young promising manager. I think he's got a lot to prove. It remains to be seen whether he can or he will lead Manchester United to Premier League titles. I think that's a tough ask. I think with Erik ten Hag, we thought we were getting a good young coach. But yeah, it remains to be seen. But in terms of he might get sacked in 2 years' time, and genuinely, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get if he gets sacked in 2 years' time. And by the end of it, look how beautiful he is, man. He's got all his hair, and by the end of it, of his tenure at Manchester United, Manchester United have made him lose all his hair. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, because that's the type of club that we are, man. Like, we're just one of them ones. We're in kind of this limbo state, not really kind of happening too much for us. But yeah, personally, I would take Ruben Amorim, but I don't understand why he would want to leave. You've got some other managers out there as well. You've got Nagelsmann, who they might have sought out, Xavi as well. But with regards to the speed that this has moved, when I mentioned this before as well, how fast this is going, I believe that they got the yes from Ruben Amorim, and that's why they decided to pull the plug on Erik ten Hag. I don't think if they had got the yes, they would have pulled the plug. I think they sounded him out, and Ruben Amorim, like, he took over Braga mid-season. I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me just check that he did take over Braga. So he took over Braga mid-season, and then from Braga mid-season he went to Sporting Lisbon. So I don't think he minds taking over mid-season, and I think maybe that's one of the reasons why this has been so fast moving and it's been so fast paced as well. Another thing that I've seen as well, Ruben Amorim did lose 5-1 to Ajax, and you guessed it, who was in charge of Ajax at the time? You guessed it, boys. It was Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag beat Ruben Amorim 5-1, and you've got Manuel Ugarte on the bench there as well. And you benched him for Ajax in the Champions League. He's going to bench him again for United as well. He's going to stay rotting on the bench. Nah, I'm just kidding, innit? I don't know, man. But yeah, it's really interesting that Ruben Amorim has worked with Bruno Fernandes and Manuel Ugarte previously. Perhaps he can get the best out of Manuel Ugarte as well, and maybe he plays in the Premier League as well. But yeah, it remains to be seen. Finally, let's talk about some of the kind of tactics that Ruben Amorim would most likely deploy at Manchester United. It most likely would be a 3-4-3 formation if he is appointed. This is a very good article that you should kind of read as well. But yeah, he's got his hallmark at Sporting has been his ability to create a high intensity possession oriented style play using a flexible 3-4-3, and personally, that's how I would like to play. I would want Man United to dominate possession and dominate games with that regard as well. But of course, possession doesn't win you football matches. You need to be clinical going forward as well. I wouldn't necessarily want Manchester United to press in a 4-2-4 formation, because Erik ten Hag tried that and it simply didn't work. And so unless Ruben Amorim can get the press right, then I wouldn't necessarily be playing high press with the players that Man United have at the moment, because it's just failed, innit? We're 14th in the league because we tried high pressing and it just doesn't work. So he likes building up in that 3-4-3. He likes having the keeper involved as well. I would like that as well. I would want kind of Ruben Amorim to kind of unlock Onana, because I think Onana is a decent ball playing goalkeeper. I just don't think he's been used correctly as well. I think his pass accuracy is poor most games as well. And if you can get Onana's pass accuracy into the high 70s and into the high 80s, possibly unseen for a goalkeeper, then I think we could turn into a very good side that play out from the back really well. In Amorim's style, the goalkeeper takes on a more active role in the build-up. At United, this could see the goalkeeper position between the centre-backs to create a 3-2 structure in the low build-up. We have seen this under Erik ten Hag as well, but I don't think it's been utilised to the best of the ability that it could have been. So it not only aids distributing the ball out of high pressure situation, but also allows United to control play from deep. I do think we need a kind of deep line ball playing central midfielder as well, to kind of cater this style of play. Perhaps Ruben Amorim drops Bruno Fernandes back into that deeper role, and he plays in midfield alongside Ugarte or Casemiro or something like that if he wants to deploy that 3-4-3. Personally, if he does deploy the 3-4-3, I don't want to see Bruno Fernandes right wing. I don't want to see Marcus Rashford right wing or playing right wing back or whatever. I really don't want to see that. I want to see Marcus Rashford back on the left hand side, cutting in onto his right foot and shooting. That's what I really want to see. So the back three would likely consist of De Ligt, Martinez and perhaps Maguire, all of whom possess technical ability to progress the ball. And midfield, preference for a double pivot. So this midfield structure includes two deep-lying defensive midfielders positioned in a staggered formation. So at United, Casemiro, Ugarte and Maino and Eriksen could serve as the two midfielders, providing stability, ball-winning ability and creativity. High build-up play, a 1-3-2-5 formation. The 3-2-5 formation, we've seen it under Erik ten Hag, and we've seen it across Europe as well. And they're transitioning to this 3-2-5 formation as well. But it would be very interesting to see if he doesn't go with this and he goes with something else, because if you want to be different, basically, you want to be kind of standing out with regards to everyone else. You want to be the one that kind of sets the tempo and the new trend. You don't want to be the one that follows the trend, if you know what I mean. So I would personally want to kind of I wouldn't personally deploy that 3-2-5 formation, but we'll see if Amorim does do that. So when pushing forward, Amorim's formation transforms into a 3-2-5, high back line for intense counter-pressing. And that's the thing that Manchester United haven't had this season, which is this high back line. Even though we are pressing in a 4-2-4 structure, the defensive line is too far back from the midfield and the striker. So the space between them is too large, and the central midfielders have too much space to cover. If you want to be pressing high, you got to all go, and you got to basically camp at the halfway line and just push and pen in the opposition into their own defensive third. That would mean the United's defensive line would push up, reducing the space between the midfield and defence, ensuring they regain possession quickly upon losing it as well. So attack in the final third, dominating the box. So emphasis on getting multiple players into the box, often aiming for 4 to 5 players in the penalty area. So United could expect to see more players aggressively moving into scoring positions as well. In these scenarios, Amorim often deployed underlapping runs to unlock defences. Fernandes, known for his off-ball intelligence, could take advantage of this tactic, pulling defenders out of position and opening lanes for other players to take advantage of these spaces opened up. So also, I think that possibly moving Bruno Fernandes back into central midfield alongside a Casemiro or Ugarte could be very beneficial for us. Especially if, let's say, Eriksen does leave and Bruno Fernandes is kind of coming into this, he's doesn't want to necessarily be involved in the attacking build-up in terms of scoring goals, that is. Maybe assisting, yes. Maybe kind of turn into that De Bruyne kind of role, that deep-lying playmaker. I do believe that Bruno Fernandes does have the passing to do so. It's just his defensive discipline, because like we've seen sometimes when he's playing as that second striker, he does like to wander and play even further than the striker sometimes. So Bruno Fernandes would have to be kind of deployed in a deeper role. So yeah, when defending, defensive structure in the compact pressing in a 5-2-3 formation, where compact pressing, forcing opponents wide are prioritised. Back three form a cohesive wall, wing backs dropping into defensive roles, while the central midfielders clog the centre to restrict the opponent's build-up play. And this setup allows United to press high without sacrificing defensive solidity, ideal for Amorim's commitment to ball recovery. So this is used Man United's 3-4-3 that we could see under Amorim. Personally, you got Bruno Fernandes here in this position. I would personally not be having Bruno Fernandes play right wing. Personally, I would want Ahmad there. I definitely want Ahmad there. Anthony, he's out with a sprained ankle or something, but he needs to get released anyway. Anthony can go with Erik ten Hag as well. Personally, I don't want to see Bruno Fernandes right wing. I would much rather prefer Bruno Fernandes kind of in this position, possibly next to Casemiro, in replace of Mainu as well. But yeah, finally, maybe we need some specialist wing backs as well. We need the return of Luke Shaw and Taro Malacia, but I'm kind of sick and tired of them at this point. And I would personally get rid of them and maybe bring in Theo Hernandez or something. But yeah, we'll see how that goes around. So if appointed, Ruben Amorim's tactical philosophy could rejuvenate Man United's gameplay. His balanced, high-intensity approach to defence and his dynamic, numbers-oriented attack would bring a level of tactical sophistication that has been missing since Sir Alex Ferguson's tenure. While it remains to be seen whether Amorim's style would work as seamlessly in the Premier League as it has in Portugal, the prospect of a more organised, aggressive and thrilling Manchester United under Amorim's guidance is tantalising for fans and players alike. Now, in terms of Ruben Amorim, like I mentioned before, the same hype was here under Erik ten Hag. Like, I can't kind of get away from the fact that we are in the same position that we were, 2.5 years ago, around 2.5 years ago when Erik ten Hag was appointed in April 2022. I can't help but feel we are literally, in that same kind of feeling, that same feeling, you know what I mean? Like, we're in that kind of same Ruben Amorim is going to come and he's going to kind of solve everything and he's going to be leading Man United to Premier League titles and we're going to be playing this amazing 3-5-2, this 3-4-3 formation, and Ruben Amorim is going to come and he's going to fix it all and all this. And yes, he is a good coach. He does have a good record in Portugal, but like I mentioned previously, like I mentioned before, the Premier League is a different kettle of fish. And I'm not kind of going to be too kind of, excited and, we're going to win the league next season. Ruben Amorim, he's done amazing in Portugal. He's going to do amazing in the Premier League as well. I'm not going to be kind of, kind of that excited for the appointment. I'm not going to be hyped up like I have been previously and stuff. So I'm just going to take it as it is. We will see if Ruben Amorim is that guy, we will see the performances on the pitch, and if he isn't, he will probably get sacked in about 2 years, and that's just how it is, unfortunately. I'm not sure what Ruben Amorim is looking for in terms of deal, and whether he wants a 2-year deal, 3-year deal, or whatever. It remains to be seen, but managers that have been more successful than Ruben Amorim in terms of honours have come and they failed as well. You had Louis van Gaal, who'd won 2 Champions League. He failed. Jose Mourinho had won 2 Champions League. He failed. Jose Mourinho had won the league title in his second season in every club he had managed up until Manchester United, and he failed as well to get Manchester United a Premier League title. So it remains to be seen. It definitely does remain to be seen. I don't know what else to say apart from that. But yeah, in terms of the Champions League, I don't think he's had an amazing record in the Champions League, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really remember him kind of progressing that far in the Champions League. I do think they reached the semi-finals one season, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, genuinely, Ruben Amorim, let's go back to this beautiful man. He is a beautiful man. Let's not get it twisted. It remains to be seen whether he can deliver Manchester United a Premier League title or not. But like I mentioned before, I wouldn't be surprised if he is sacked in 2 years, because that's just the way the cookie crumbles. The Premier League is a different kettle of fish, and managing Manchester United is an absolutely different kettle of fish, something that is one of the hardest jobs in world football. Like I mentioned, you got Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester United, and possibly Liverpool. I'm not sure about the Liverpool one, but yeah, they're your 5 hardest. Maybe the England, fuck England, actually, forget England. They're your kind of 5 kind of big jobs in world football. So yeah, it definitely it is a promising appointment, I'm not going to lie, but like I mentioned before, we were this hyped, not hyped, but I wasn't personally hyped, but fans and fans were hyped and excited for the appointment of Erik ten Hag as well. And yeah, it remains to be seen. But anyway, I'll leave it here. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.